This is the Slow Wardrobe. Come and have a look. Hello, welcome to episode 126 of the Slow Wardrobe podcast. My name is Linda. In this episode, I'll give you an update on my knitting antics over the last 2 weeks. I'll show you a couple of pictures and maybe a video of little snippets of a very special event that I attended this past weekend before we dive into Layercake with the current pre-order that promotes baggies and slackers in our heavier weight linen, and that shows them styled with lots of different outfits, all in the current Layercake lineup, the current Layercake collection, and the more recent introduction into that collection. But before all of that, first an update on my knitting antics. So I've actually put the light academia jumper that I was test knitting on a mannequin. It's properly steam blocked now and all finished. And of course it looks wonderful on the mannequin because she's nice and slinky, and the jumper is quite slinky. I'm not quite as slinky, but it is nice and roomy on me as well. Strictly speaking, based on the recommended positive ease on the jumper, it was recommended that I would go with a size 5. I ended up saying I'll either do a 5 or a 6. I was then asked to do a 6, and I am really glad that I did, because it really suits the feel and the general drape of the yarn that I've used to have that extra positive ease and to properly show off the drapey nature of the yarn. So the yarn that I did use was some of the leftover undyed Yak Blend 2 that I had in stock, and I have used some of my very old last pot of dye of the Slate acid, all-in-one acid dyes that I used to sell to dye some of it. It's come out kind of mottled, kind of, you know, bit of a gradient. It's not gradient, it is variegated, I should call it, and I'm really pleased with how that's worked out. So the pattern will be called Light Academia. It's by Sarah Hartley. I'll put all the details down below, and once the pattern comes out, I really recommend it. It is lovely knit with the texture at the top and then color work. That's the kind of original option, but then there are also options that have just color work or just textured stitches. I think I said this before, so I'm sorry to repeat myself. What I haven't shown you yet is the sleeve. I've got one more end to weave in. I promise you that's the last one. The others are done. And this is a sleeve that keeps its original width right to the end. Then you decrease all the way around and knit a cuff. That's called a bishop sleeve because it's kind of poofy. And the poofy effect in my case is slightly decreased because I did not size down my needle for the cuff. I kept the same needle size. I did the same for the body as well, because I wanted that loose effect and that drapey effect. So it's not as much of a pronounced a balloon effect at the bottom of the sleeve as intended by the designer, but you can see that it's quite a long sleeve, a wide sleeve all the way down, and that it does gather in at the bottom. So it has absolutely achieved the effect that I was after. I'm really keen on the shape as well as the length, and I'll try to show by turning her a little bit that you can see that the panel of stocking stitch in the front is only about 3 inches high, and in the back it's much higher. It's more like 5, close to 6 inches. That is because of the short rows that I put in the back part, the back half, the back panel, before I started knitting in the round again. So I entered those short rows straight after doing the color work. So it's got this kind of wedge shape, you know, like half moon shape of extra rows in the back here, and then started to go in the round again for those 3 inches that I've got in the front as well, before I then did some more color work and the bottom edge. So I like that look of a jumper being slightly longer in the back, and some jumpers kind of automatically create that, and some of them are really nice and straight. This one is completely straight if you don't put in any of the short rows in the back. So I wanted to add some short rows. That's what I've done, as you could see. And then on to the jumper that I had not planned to knit at all, but that I just started very spontaneously when I had bought this yarn, and then decided that I wanted to knit it together with an oatmeal-y color, because I can then wear that with a slightly felted wool wrap that I very recently bought. So this came racing in between, and it's the Tanke top that I have by AnkeStrick that I wanted to knit in the past. I tried to knit it last year, was not happy with the yarn that I'd chosen for it, and this has gone down a dream. Because it is a very easy pattern to knit and very quick, I've actually made quite a lot of headway on it. I will pull it forward a little bit so that I can show you a bit better. So it is meant to be a sleeveless top like this. I am knitting it in a big size, and again loose, you know how oversized I like my jumpers. And there's an option of adding a hood, which I've done. I've got some ends to weave in here, as you can see, but the hood is already on. I will turn her around so we can see the hood in all its glory. There it is. It's a good fit. I tried it on before I closed it at the top, so the hood fits me well, and it's a really nice size, and I love the fact that you then get the stripes, of course, going in the opposite direction. The original sample is knit with much narrower stripes. I liked the idea of doing them like this. I have 10 rows of the ochre color called Frank Ochre. This color, I think it's a color that's being discontinued. It's a Malabrigo sock yarn, and it knits up in a very similar way to the Malabrigo Finito that was a much loved yarn by me last year, and that I bought the last bits that I could find in UK because it is a discontinued yarn. So my stripes have got 6 rows of the ochre color, and then 10 rows of the ochre color, and then 6 rows of the grey beige of Biche et Bûche Le Petit Lamb's Wool. Now, when I knit this yarn, the sock yarn, first of all, I knit everything on 3.5mm needles. The sock yarn, which is 400 meters per 100 grams, ends up being knitting up to exactly the same gauge for me as the Biche et Bûche. But this is 500 meters per 100 grams. And therein lies my love for the yarn. It is toothy, it feels rustic, but you can wear it against your skin. 500 meters per 100 grams. That means that your jumpers, with or without color work or with or without structured stitches, will come out lighter and more airy, so not quite as hot as the equivalent yarns in DK or in 4-ply that have a more of a woolen spun effect. This is definitely woolen spun, and it makes it very lofty, very light, and creates for a wonderful fabric. I love this yarn. And combining it like this with a standard sock yarn has been a bit of a revelation. I haven't tried that before. I love that effect. You get that super light airiness of the Biche et Bûche, and an ever so slightly more weight and more heft of the sock yarn. So that then adds a little bit of drape, and the resulting fabric is just fab. So I'm going to definitely do more projects that combine a sock yarn with the Biche et Bûche, because it's just a match made in heaven for me. Now, normally I would have been done if I had finished the main body panels and the hood, but I decided to give this jumper sleeves. I haven't actually even checked what kind of edging is on the original pattern for this jumper, but what I've done is the sewn Kitchener stitch bind off, which has you knitting 2 rows in a 1x1 rib where you like slip stitches and whatever. Look it up, I'll give you the details down below. And then with a needle and thread, you bind off the stitches, and it creates that effect where the stitches just look like they continue on the back of the work. I love that effect. And I really like that straight, ever so slightly curling edge that I then get on my jumper. The other thing that happened quite naturally with this jumper, without putting in any extra short rows, is that the back ends up hanging lower than the front. Perfect, love it. So didn't need to change anything about that. But then finally I decided to put sleeves in. And when I showed my family in Holland what I was knitting, my brother and his wife immediately said, "Oh, why don't you do a contrast color for the sleeves? Something completely different." I thought, I like the idea of starting it in the stripes, because I wanted those stripes in a different direction. But then as I was knitting, I was inspired by a shirt that I bought very recently that is spotted. It's got spots on it, little spots. But I thought, yep, I'm going to do it. I'm going to come up with a contrast. And here it is. I've put a contrast last, like, 4, 5, 6 inches on my sleeve in a different color. This is a sock yarn. I will put the details down below because I don't remember. West Yorkshire Spinners. Yes, I do remember. This is one of their sock yarns in this lovely, soft raspberry color. I really liked how this looked against the yellow and oatmeal, and realized that I could just keep going with the oatmeal for my spots. Kind of blends in and contrasts at the same time. So I've got quite a lot of stripe here before I go into my spots, and on the other sleeve I'm going to start the spots earlier, so I'm going to do like maybe 2 or 3 of the repeats of the yellow and oatmeal stripe. So probably here I'm going to start the spots and have uneven sleeves, in the sense that my right sleeve will have a larger panel with spots than my left sleeve. So of course I have put in twisted my yarn so that I don't have any long loops. I want to be able to do this if I want to roll up my sleeves. So I didn't want any floats on this section. And you do see that a little bit because I caught my yarn and twisted my yarns so very often. Did not bother to check how to do that in a particularly neat manner, but I don't mind. It looks great, and it's like almost a little bit beehive like that. I can see it's as if there's a white fabric in sections running behind the pink. But anyway, not in a way that is prohibitive. I have just done a spontaneous, as I went, combination of decreases that I started like halfway through here and just gradually decreased to end up with a width that is still generous around my wrist, but that I'm really happy with, and it looks good in combination with the rest of the jumper. So I'll be able to knit the other sleeve in the next day or two. This weekend I'll be able to finish the jumper all together and then start wearing it. I can't wait. I'm very excited to start wearing this. It just fits in so well with the kind of clothes that I enjoy wearing at the moment, and this will be more of a dressy jumper, I expect, because of that luxurious kind of drapey feel of the fabric. it's a bit more dressy in my mind anyway than this is. This is just a throw over and muck in kind of jumper or so is the feel to me. So that is for my 2 existing knits. Now, what has thrown a bit of a spanner in the works with this one is that I was fully intended, still am, to join the West Knits Mystery Knit Along 2024. And of course by now Clue 2 has already been released and I haven't even started Clue 1 yet. So my idea is to finish the last sleeve of this jumper in the next day or so. I'll push myself to finish the jumper before I get stuck into the Mystery Knit Along, the West Knits Mystery Knit Along. But what I can show you are the yarns that I've chosen to knit this year's mystery shawl in. I was already thinking of using a combination of my own 3-ply linen, 600 meters per 100 grams, and Cumulus, Fiber Spades Cumulus, which is also 600 meters per 100 grams, but of course a very, very different texture. So I have chosen the color Celestial for the Cumulus, and this color is the color that is like it's like a duck egg blue. It's the color that is in the pistachio linen fabric that I have, and I have a pistachio gradient, linen gradient as well, that goes from this color to gray, which are the 2 colors that are in the pistachio linen fabric. And I also have a lighter, is it called teal wash? Yes. I have a lighter gradient that goes from the duck egg to the very pale O'Donnell green color, creating a lighter gradient. So you can then go from the O'Donnell to the duck egg, and then from the duck egg to the dark gray if you want to make a double gradient out of those 2. But I digress. Well, not completely digress, because what I've decided to do is I start Clue 1 with this color, and then depending on what Clue 2 is, I may then, with each next clue, change my yarn color. So I'm either going to go from here into lighter to the O'Donnells, or I go from here slightly darker towards the grays. I haven't decided yet, and because I'm now running behind the rest, sorry, got a bit of a hoarse throat, so as I'm talking my throat gets really dry. I do apologize. It's all due to last weekend, about which more in a minute. So depending on how this knits up and how I like these 2 colors together when I see them in a knitted fabric, I'll either go lighter to the O'Donnell or I go darker to the gray, or I'm going to stick with this throughout. I haven't decided yet, but like I said, because I'm running behind, I can peek to what other people are doing and do sneak peeks with every next clue to get an idea of where I'm going with my knitting, to make those slightly more informed decisions as to what I'm going to do with color. This one is going to stay the same throughout, but this one may or may not turn into a gradient. So more about that, I'm sure, in the next podcast. 2 weeks from now, I'll definitely be on my way knitting this. And of course, one of the reasons that I've chosen these colors is that they go wonderfully together with the teal gingham fabric, teal gingham linen. They go great with the teal wash as well as with the pistachio. So it makes for a really nice combination, really nice accessory to show against some of my linen fabrics. More about this in 2 weeks' time. So that's been it for knitting in the last 2 weeks. So now I'll give you a little bit of an insight, a couple of pictures more than anything else, in what I was up to last weekend in the Netherlands. I actually spent 2 nights in a tent. Yep, beginning of October, and I slept 2 nights in a tent. Well, one night I didn't sleep at all. We skipped the night altogether. We were partying so hard that we ended up sitting around before going to bed at about 7:30 in the morning. We stoked up the fire again. I'll show you a picture here of our setup. There's the camper van of my brother's, and you can just about see the tent to my left in the photograph. We were having a fire and we were having sausages at 7:30, 8 o'clock in the morning. And then finally went to bed at 9 a.m., not having slept all night. Had a wonderful time. This is quite a special campsite in Holland that attracts a very eclectic crowd at the opening and closing weekends of the campsite. So opening weekend, opening of the season in like April, I think, and then a closing weekend in October. The campsite is run by a bunch of creative people. I think they went to art school with my brother, and during the high season it turns into slightly more standard campsite, but at the beginning, at the end of the season, all the crazy peeps, all the creative peeps come out of the woodwork and they put on quite a show. It's like a mini festival. There are like 4 or 5 different venues with music going on all night. They turn that music into a silent disco at about midnight. So when you not wearing, I don't know if you know what a silent disco is, it's like wearing headphones that has the music blasting. And the way they do it here is that when you take the headphones off, you can still hear the music, but it is just soft enough, turned down enough not to bother anybody around, and still loud enough to dance to if you want it that way and have a conversation at the same time. But if you really want to boogie on down and you want to blast the music, you can do that with a set of headphones. These headphones have different channels on them, so you can walk around the campsite and join different parties that all have their own music, different DJs, different artists performing, and you just change the channel to tune into the music that you're hearing right then and there. There are lots of activities during the day. It's like yoga type things and whatever, lots of different gatherings, things to do for kids even, but in the evenings it turns into a proper party and a proper visual spectacular. They have very interesting settings and setups. So for example, one of the venues was kind of hidden in the woods and you had to find your way there through a path that was only lit by having lots of neon wool strung between trees and then lit with small lights. So the wool would light up like laser beams, and those laser beams would guide you towards the music. It was so cool. That's the kind of things that they do in their setups. Very special. So as I'm talking, I'm showing you some photographs of some of the setups that we took, and just had a wonderful time. My brother and his wife, who are avid festival goers, go there every opening and closing season of the season. They've been going there for years, and this year, because we could, I said to my other half, shall we break out the tent again, our family tent that we haven't used for 7 or 8 years? He was immediately enthusiastic. We haven't camped for so long, never camped without the kids, so we thought, well, let's give it a go. It's only one weekend. How bad can it get, right? We were unbelievably lucky with the weather. It was really warm with like 15, 16 degrees during the day. So we're talking about 60 degrees Fahrenheit for those of you who are familiar with that statistic. So warm during the day, but of course, if it's warm during the day at this time of year, it means that it's going to get cold during the night. So it was only a couple of degrees above freezing during the night. And in the tent, of course, you can kind of warm yourself, warm each other, as long as your bed is warm enough. I had made sure that we had like goose down duvet with us and blankets and whatever, so it was a proper nest that we could crawl into and keep ourselves warm with socks on in bed and everything. We had a wonderful time. We enjoyed being back in the tent so much, so I can imagine that we'll do that again. And when we do, you'll hear all about it. if everything goes according to plan and 1 year from now we end up living in France the way we hope to, then there'll definitely be some camping trips on the cards, I hope. But more about that as and when they unfold. For now, my scratchy throat is luckily getting better again, all caused by too much partying too late in the night. Obviously can't do that anymore at my age, or not without paying a price. So it's all getting better though. My voice is good enough to at least talk to you again now. Let me take you on to now the last section of the podcast that I managed to record before I was off on my weekend trip. So none of the coughing and spluttering that I was suffering from in this section of the podcast. Here's Layercake, Slackers and Baggies in the colors of my choice. But if you want to, you can choose your own. Enjoy. So yes, it's all about the trousers this week, and a particular type of trouser which has a very long rise. The rise in a trouser is the length, the distance between where the panels come together underneath, so the crotch of the trouser, and the waistline. I'm currently wearing one of our two types of drop-crotch trousers, the Slackers. The Slackers have a crotch that somehow finishes more or less between your knees, and the baggies, which I'll show you next, are the ones with the really low crotch. It's almost a skirt that's been made into a trouser with just this kind of half moon shape and a crotch that goes even lower. It's more like in between your calves. So Slackers to start off with, and in your choice of colors from the heavier linen, getting ready for the colder season. Of course, I have to show off both of our large checks, this being the large bright check, of course, and then I've got the large new check coming as well as some of the other colors that are part of the heavier linen lineup, some of the new ones, but also some of the existing ones, like there's the brown, for example, and there are like 24 or so others. So starting with Slackers in the large bright check, worn with a cocoon love top in Sangria. Such a good color, one of the bright colors that goes very well with the large bright check. Of course the other two go as well, the teal and the turmeric, but there's most recognition of the reddish colors if you like to team it with a color that you can really find back in the check. Now I'm wearing that with a smock in a size 2. The love top is a size 1. The Slackers are the large long ones, and the size 2 smock is in Fiddlehead, one of the summer weight smocks. And I'll assure you there will be a pre-order for the the winter weight smocks coming as well down the pike. So there will be a pre-order for those. This was one of the summer colors and it goes really well with the large bright check. But one of the key reasons that I'm showing it to you here is not just for color combination, but also to show you how the length of the smock relates to where that crotch level is of the Slackers. So the Slackers show you the back as well, and then I will take off that smock to show you what they look like when you see the full length of them. As you can see, they've got set-in pockets rather than something that sits on top to create a leaner silhouette depending on what you wear over the top of it, so you don't get any extra bulk. And that leaner silhouette kind of goes down, but then with that extra long rise in both the front and back, of course, gives you lots of opportunity to show off this gorgeous large check, just like you do in the baggies. but it's a bit of an unsung hero still. It was a new kid on the block, these trousers this year. There are some designer brands where trousers like this are the mainstay of the brand, and it seemed to me that for a lot of my Layercake lovers, a crotch line like this is something quite new. I have a couple of people who immediately dove on top of it saying, yes, this is what we've been waiting for. And a lot of you have said, not so sure about that. I can tell you though, it is the most wonderful, comfortable thing to wear without completely losing your legs in something quite as covered as the baggies. So if you're not sure about baggies with just that super low crotch, then this is the wonderful halfway house. They are, like I said, incredibly comfortable, but you still have some leg left at the bottom of the trousers, if you know what I mean. So why not give them a try? I'm going to keep going and team them up with some other garments before I dive into other colors. Of course, one perfect thing to combine, garment to combine with these Slackers is a synergy duster that combines the same color, the same fabric, creating a nice long silhouette. And of course I could put that smock back on in between, but I wanted to show you as much of that check worn together with the synergy and the Slackers. Instead of a synergy duster, it can be a regular one, of course, but that would then be the medium length or the short length, whereas this one is the long length. Great fun. Let's grab a shawl. The one that I kept right for the end last time, I've put it right at the beginning because I want to show you how wonderful it is with the large bright check as well. It again, of course, puts more emphasis on the orange and red colors that are in the large bright check, and then together, of course, worn with the sangria, it really pings all the oranges, reds and pinks that are in both the duster as well as the trousers. So let's grab a different color other than the large bright check. Here are the Slackers with a love tunic. You can see a lot more coverage with a love tunic than with a love top, but still lots of Slacker fabric visible because of that shaping that I already mentioned. Lovely color, blackcurrant of course, and let me now show the blackcurrant with the large new check, because of course they are such a wonderful combination. From Slackers to baggies and from long length to regular length, and that is one of the key reasons that I thought I will wear my boots this time rather than my little slip-on shoes, because it's more of a winterier into autumn kind of set of outfits. I thought I'll show some more autumnal type of footwear as well, and to show you that if you go for more of a cropped look with something like the baggies, for example, then of course the crotch comes up a little bit. So the crotch level of these baggies is almost the same as the Slackers are on me in the regular length, because of course the whole thing comes up a little bit, and that kind of crop look is a great way to show off boots or your ankles in summer if you're wearing summer shoes. So it doesn't all have to be a full length also always, and that's one of the reasons that we do these trousers in more than one length, so that you have the option to play with it and that they don't drown you if you are of shorter stature. Let me add a smock. So with the Slackers, I added a synergy duster in the same fabric, and with the baggies, I've done the same with a smock to create an all over one fabric look, both for top and bottom, even though they are separate garments. What do we think? Of course, this is still the blackcurrant love tunic that I'm wearing underneath, so it's quite a lovely and kind of warm autumnal outfit that I've got on here. Let's keep changing it and show you other colors with it. This is a love dress in the shorter length, hence the pockets being higher as well on me, of course, in Magpie size 1, and that's about knee length on me, so it's almost a bit tunic like, and then worn with the baggies in the regular length in the large nude check. I love the combination of the large nude check and those darker shades like blackcurrant and dark teal and Magpie, and you get a completely different silhouette by wearing something like this compared to going for something either in the same fabric or a smock, for example, in the same color as the baggies. So let me add a scarf. One of the super popular, it has proven to be most popular multicolored ones, well, together with the stripes. The stripe is out of stock again. I can't get any more of those. These I was able to get some more when I went out of stock almost straight away. So nab it while you can, because I think that was it. So I'm putting this one on here with this outfit because it's got some of the lighter colors in as well as lots of the darker ones. So it brings back some of the lighter colors that are in my baggies, and therefore a lovely combination. Let's keep going. Next color. Turmeric in a cocoon love top as well as a smock. Like I said, these babies are coming down the pike. One of the next pre-orders will be for the tunics coming soon. So if you have a combination of a tunic and a pair of baggies or slackers that you particularly like, then order your slackers now and then wait for the smock and the tabard to come in one of the next episodes, one of the next pre-orders. Subscribe to the newsletter if you don't already, so that you are not too late with them, and then you can make that combination. So what I wanted to show here is that you are not restricted to just choosing colors that are in the check of the large nude check. There are lots of contrasts that are wonderful as well. Like I say so often, you can almost choose blind, almost pick blind within the collection, and you'll end up with a good combination. And what I've done again, same scarf, I didn't change that. Some of the lighter colors in the scarf, of course, picking up the lighter colors in the baggies and pulling the whole thing together in a very cohesive combination of outfit, even though the colors in the baggies and the colors in the smock and love top could not possibly be any further apart. Do you agree? All right, next one. If you think that those colors in the previous scarf are still a little bit too dark and you want to go a little bit closer to the lighter colors in the baggies, then of course this is a great alternative. This is the last one of its kind with, again, nearly sold out. This is the last one with a little bit of band of silver thread woven through part of it, but not all of it. So you can choose how much or how much or little of the silvery, starry kind of effect you want to see. You can fold that in a way that you don't see any of it. But the most important thing is that, again, there are lots of colors of the collection represented in this scarf, but in much smaller quantities and a little bit more like faded out, so it's a little bit more watercolory rather than very bold. And then combined with those lighter colors, the whole thing becomes a little bit softer, and that may suit your palette better. So let's keep moving. Next pair of trousers. Long baggies in the same turmeric color. These are my old baggies, so I've had these for about 2 years. So they've washed and worn a lot, whereas the smock is brand new. So they have held their color particularly well. I wanted to show you an outfit all in one color, and then just one pop of a different color with the scarf. Of course, I can very easily tie that all together a little bit more by changing the color of my love top. I'll do that so you can see the difference, and then keep the rest together, keep the rest the same. The only thing I've changed is the love top, the cocoon love top. I've gone from the turmeric into the grey one, which of course in tone is very similar to the scarf. So now the scarf and the top kind of pull together, and then the rest of the outfit all in turmeric. But let's keep going. Let me change these trousers for the next color. Everything kept the same except for the baggies. Gone for the large bright check, and these again are the regular length, so cropped on me. So you see a little bit less of them peeping out from under my smock. Of course, the baggies with their bright colors now and the smock tying in together very nicely with each other, whereas the scarf and the top kind of tell their own story. It'll all go very nicely together with that, like that. But if you would prefer to pull this story together more throughout, then again all you would have to do is change this top from the grey back to the what was I wearing, the sangria that I was wearing before, or the turmeric even, and it'll pull together again completely with the top and scarf not quite as far removed from the rest of the impact of the colors in this outfit. Right, let's keep going. I took up the scarf and put on a duster in the large bright check. Lots of coordinated outfits this week. Rather than going for more contrast, I just go with whatever I fancy in any given episode. So watch more than one of them if you want to see more variation. So this is the medium length duster with ties, which of course I can tie like this so that you still see the length of the and the color of the smock all the way down, just having the panels lined up without overlapping, or I can close it together, or of course wear it completely open. Like I said before, you can wear an outfit like this with a smock like this, or I can drop the smock from in between. Smock gone, duster open, love top in grey still there. So I can now of course turn that grey love top into a proper base layer, if you like, just an underpinning, by closing my duster completely, and only a tiny bit of the top is there. It's really just to cover my chest so that I don't end up looking into the duster if I don't wear anything underneath. But other than that, it has turned into a top to bottom large bright check outfit. So here is the love top just as an underpinning. Let's keep going, change the color and go from grey to something much brighter again. A love dress in jungle with the duster closed. Of course I can show a lot more of that gorgeous green if I wear it open, and then I can wear it without a scarf or with. This scarf is just glorious to wear with the azure or jungle like this, or dark teal, and then combined with the large bright check because of all the colors in it. But these pops of the greens and blues at the ends are just so much fun. So of course I can wear those pops higher up by wearing it around my neck multiple times, showing less of the reds and a bit more of the blues and greens right next to my face. And that is something in general to keep in mind. If, for example, you think, oh my gosh, I would love to wear turmeric, but it would just not look any good on me, so I could never wear a turmeric smock. Yes, you could. If you then wear that with a top underneath that is a color that's very strong on you, and wear a scarf that has colors that are very strong on you, then you remove the turmeric from showing right next to your skin, right next to your face, and then that whole effect of like, oh my gosh, it drowns me out, is gone, because the colors that surround your face are colors that suit you, and the turmeric is literally one step away. If you're not confident to do that, then of course you can always relinquish the turmeric to the bottom half and wear a pair of baggies or slackers or any of our other trousers in turmeric and wear that favorite color that way, then there's absolutely no risk that it won't suit you. I hope you find that helpful. All right, let me change the color of these trousers because I've got some more to show you. Back in Slackers, and this is the regular length, size large regular, so you can see that they are now cropped on me and show a lot more of my boot rather than really sitting on top of my foot. The reason I'm showing you these is for two particular demonstrations. One is of course to show you that regular length, but two is to show you this color, which is Nightshade, which was one of our medium weight linens, and that fabric has sold out, but I do have two pairs of Slackers left, one in the large regular and I think one in the large long. So even though the Slackers that are on pre-order at the moment are in the heavier linen weight, I wanted to show you these because it was a very popular color and I would feel guilty about not pointing out to you that the fabric is now gone, but there are a couple of garments left in Nightshade and two of them are Slackers. So regular length Slackers or back into the long Slackers in Lava. So back on top of my foot, like I said, and when I'm wearing the long ones, you can also just about see that crotch peeping out from under my regular length love dress. So that's another thing. If I'm wearing the regular length Slackers, then all you can see is the bottom bits of the trousers and they end up looking like regular trousers. That would not be my preference. I love showing off these really low gaucho style low crotches. I really like that. So the long Slackers are the ones for me. Let's change the colors that I'm wearing it with. We've seen so much of the large bright check now and enough of jungle. Let's go for something a bit calmer. Actually, I thought I'll do this in two steps again. So I've changed the duster into a joy jacket, and now I'm going to change the dress into an anytime top in love top in slate. So with the 3/4 length sleeves and that nice short crop length, so I can show off the full length of my Slackers, the longest leg effect that I can create. And then of course I can wear this either open or closed. I'll close it up to show you the silhouette that creates. And then I can bring some of the colors of lava and some other colors back with a scarf. Let me show you an example again. Keeping it nice and soft with this lighter color ones, with one which of course has got lots of the grays and beiges that are in my joy jacket, and then also clearly has the reds and the turmerics, etc., the lava colors in it as well. So great way to pull it all together, the whole outfit together. And I'm wearing this quite cropped high around my neck so that I can still see the closure of my joy jacket and I don't cover that completely with a long scarf. Of course, I can go brighter with my scarf. Let me quickly show you that before going into the next outfit. Showing you this one on purpose because it's got the reds and the oranges that is lava in it, but it also introduces those blues and greens back in, which aren't anywhere in my outfit. But does that matter? Absolutely not. There is plenty here to pull the whole outfit together, and the nice bright colors of the scarf against the nice bright color of my Slackers looks fantastic. And then with that calmer jacket in between. Right, I've got a bit more of the large new check to show you, but I also wanted to show you a black pair of Slackers with this jacket, especially because black Slackers are kind of in a league of their own. There's just always something really formal and dressy about wearing black trousers, whether they're black wool trousers or black linen trousers. There's something dressy and formal about it. And it's not just the color, it's just an association that I guess we've grown up with. However, you then combine that with this shape, and all of a sudden there's plenty of quirk still there. It can be a very classical outfit, very classic outfit, like what I'm wearing here with these very calm colors, but then all of a sudden there's that unusual shape with that drop crotch, which is just fab, looks amazing and feels wonderful to wear. Wearing it still with the slate love top, of course that could have been a black one, that makes the outfit even more formal. And then wearing it with the joy jacket, either open or closed. Okay, couple of more large new check, like I said, and then that's it again for this time. Slackers in the long length in the large new check, and then going with the more neutral slate and the joy jacket in the steel herringbone. I don't know whether I'd mentioned that yet, but steel herringbone, of course. And the other thing that I always forget to mention with the joy jacket, of course, it's the fact that it is our double-sided jacket. Can turn the whole thing inside out or outside in, however you want to describe it. And then instead of showing the, depending on which color you choose, more colorful herringbone on the outside, you end up showing the natural linen on the outside, which of course together with the large new check is a wonderful combination as well. Okay, I'm going to keep these on and change my top. I'm stuck with the steel herringbone, but what a completely different silhouette. This is one of the easy dresses in the steel herringbone, obviously, size large, so bigger and wider and therefore looking a little bit longer, worn with that same pair of slackers in the large new check. So if you were on the fence about slackers until now, let me tell you, slackers combined with an easy dress are just the best combination. It is such an unusual set of shapes. It looks really, really exclusive. It looks very, very unique. It's a very individualized look in that respect, and isn't that what we're after? I hope you are. I don't know what you would be doing here looking at this otherwise. So pockets in the side, about knee length, just beyond knee length on me, the large one, and then coming back with that check at the bottom. It is most wonderful weekend wear as well if you need to dress more formally during the week. And let me show you the trick of wearing one of the scarves like nicely tucked into the little cowl neck that this comes with. You know what? I figured that rather than doing this in the mirror and seeing what I'm doing, basically, I'm going to do it here and hopefully show you literally live how to achieve that tucked in look. I just wind the scarf around my neck. It kind of goes 3 times around if you don't make any knots in it, which I haven't done. And then all you do is push it into that little cowl neck. Work it so that you've got a little bit of it sticking out, the rest of it tucked in nicely. And then of course you can also always check in the mirror that you're happy with the color combination. You can fiddle that to show more red or more purple, for example. This was the one color of scarf that I hadn't shown you yet this time, but I've got most of it tucked in now. And then you just get those nice colors around around your face. This will stay in place beautifully because of course linen has a dryness to its feel, a stickiness. It's not too slippery and slinky. Neither are the woolen scarves. So one more to show you and then we're done. Top to bottom in large new check with an easy dress, a large easy dress, and a pair of slackers. And if I show you this in a large new check, then I guess I have to show you in the large bride check as well. All right, here we go. Pair of slackers in the large bride check and a matching easy dress. Pockets, super comfy, super relaxed. Can be thrown over other layer cakes or just worn as a whole outfit like this. Thank you very much for sticking with me through all of it again, and I'll see you again soon.